On this episode of Picker Road, I am solo picking in the Las Vegas Arts District. There's the Stratosphere back there, and today I'm going to be visiting Antique Alley. This is a fantastic antique mall, and if you remember, about a month and a half ago, my best friend Tyler and I went picking here, and we found some great items. We explored some amazing history. There are so many vendors here. There's so much to look at, so many different varieties of things. So we're going to look at some whole new sections that we didn't see last time, maybe revisit a few others, and then later on, I'm going to get a delicious treat right here in the Arts District. So sit back, relax, and join the journey.
I'm Harleen, and along with my husband Gary and our son Will, we are a family of pickers. We travel the country finding treasures to bring to you. Along the way, we have great adventures. Come along with us. Join the journey on Picker Road.
All right, it is a rainy December day here in Las Vegas, and we're ready to go inside and see what we can find. This place is so much fun. It's so huge. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to get blasted by Zoltar as soon as we walk in. Let's see if he has something to say. Hello, Zoltar.
What are you waiting for? Come on over. For a small fee, Zoltar will give you a wealth of wisdom.
Zoltar is $10,000 and he's worth every penny. You imagine how much you could make with him? Okay, so we're going to start right here in this front booth and look at this Burma bowl of 900 coin silver, $2,299. It is over 2 pounds of coin silver. Isn't that incredible? And right down there, we see some Bohemian etched glass. Fantastic frosted design to it. They look almost like clouds, don't they? And then everybody knows that color. Look, Tiffany is 20% off. That's fantastic. I see in the back there, they've got some 1978 Orient and Flume butterfly paperweight. That's beautiful. Over here, we have some Disney pins. I've always loved Disney pins. I collect them whenever I go to the parks. I see down there some interesting ones. Annual pass holder exclusives from 2007, 2008, 2009. Those are great. I've actually never seen those before, and I love the depth on them. Look at how it's got different tiers for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. You got the goat up there. And then back there, you've got some It's a Small World, Chippendales. Lots of great Disney there. Oh, a delicate little Baccarat bird. Isn't that beautiful? And it's got kind of a purplish tone to it. They're asking $225. I love it. We're only in the first booth so far, and there's already so much to look at. Let's keep on exploring. This section here at the front has a lot of great antiques, architectural salvage, vintage pieces. I love looking at pieces that maybe need a little cleanup or that you want to leave in its original state. Like this old record player. Look at that. That looks like it needs to have the big horn sticking out of it, right? Like an old Victrola. It is $234 and it's so much fun. And then over here, you've got all these wood drink cartons like Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola. We've encountered these in the past. They're always fun, and they always make really nice accents for design. Let's see what else we have over here. Oh, wow. Look at that. Is that like a train light? That is incredible. It's huge. Could you imagine that in like a big industrial garage workplace? Oh, I love architectural salvage. They are asking $389 for that. And then we've got some beautiful big sculptures and some vintage wall decor here. Oh, that's a moose. That's a moose and a half, I think. Wow. If you are a Disney fan, there is never a shortage of Disney items in antique malls, and that's one of the things that's so much fun to look at. This booth is almost exclusively Disney, and I am just seeing so many little treasures here. Look at all of these pins. I like that vintage Walt Disney World flag pin right there in the center. And then there's Mickey Mouse Club and Grad Night 1981. Who here did grad night at Disneyland? I did. 2005. I went on grad night with so many of my friends, and I will never forget that. We got there just as the sun was going down, and then we partied in the park until it was dawn. And I remember walking out of the park, going to the bus to take us back, and it was just so much fun. There's nothing like grad night at Disneyland. I actually volunteered the year after as a chaperone because I had several friends who graduated the year after
What are
me,
you
and that
waiting
was a lot of
for?
fun
Come
too.
on over.
Look at
For a
these
small fee,
big, big
Zoltar will give you a
snow
wealth of
globes. We
wisdom.
got Ariel there with the big seahorse in front. Oh, and we've got 101 Dalmatians. Oh, isn't he fun? He's $59. We got some Winnie the Pooh and Beauty and the Beast. And there's a nice older Mickey right there. Did you know that in 2024, Mickey Mouse, the original Steamboat Willie, goes into public domain? That's really something to think of. Walt Disney created a wonderful, wonderful thing so long ago. Oh, look at this. These are old telegraph machines. Now, of course, I've always been fascinated with the telegraph because I studied the Titanic since I was very young. And if it wasn't for the Marconi wireless telegraph system that was installed on the Titanic in 1912, I'm sure every single person would have died on that ship. But because they were able to dot out SOS, it saved 709 lives. It's really an amazing thing, an amazing piece of history. And I love these. These are really well done. The way that they've been put on the wood blocks and displayed. It looks like they range from $44 to $100, $150. This one here is $234. I really like these. I'm going to actually consider maybe getting one of these. Well, that's an incredible piece right there. Let me know in the chat, is that an alligator or a crocodile? I know you can tell from the beak, but just let me know. And up here, this caught my eye instantly. We were just talking about Walt Disney, and look at this. This is a canceled Walt Disney check. It's been framed and matted with a picture of him, and it's dated December 16th, 1959. And the memo line on it is "Thank you, Mr. President." So I am guessing, because it says the United Republican Finance Committee, I'm guessing that he donated that to Dwight D. Eisenhower. So that's not only an incredible Disney autograph, but there's an interesting story behind that. I love canceled checks. I actually have several in my autograph collection. I've got one signed by Rod Serling, the creator of Twilight Zone, that's actually dated my birthday exactly 20 years before I was born. And then right next to it, look at this. Marilyn Monroe canceled check dated March. I'm trying to see, is that March or May? I think it's actually November 15th, 1950, for $40 to a doctor. Beautiful frame mat there with it with a beautiful photo of her. They are asking $6,899 for Marilyn, and they are asking $3,699 for Walt Disney. The Walt Disney one, I think, is just amazing, especially because it has that note of "Thank you, Mr. President." I am sure that that was for Dwight D. Eisenhower. Look at all these glass paperweights here. Now, this is a great education for me because glass is not necessarily my forte, but I've learned so much about it in the last couple of years, thanks to our good friend Danny, the niche lady. So, looking at pieces like this and seeing what they're asking for them, like this one is $24, it gives me an opportunity to learn a little bit more about them. I know that we have encountered this one before. I am sure Harleen has had that very recently. They're asking $17 for it. I would like to go back and watch one of our previous videos and find out how much we sold ours for. And then look at all these bells down here. Oh, so many different types. I see reverse painted and I see etched. There's one here with Norman Rockwell's famous self-portrait on it. They're asking 24 for that. We got some metal bells over here. And then, oh, look at the Murano style glass. Now I see that it says made in Italy on there, so I don't know if it's actually Murano, but it's really beautiful, kind of that webbed style. And then, of course, here you have Bullicante controlled bubbles. That's something that I learned in the last couple of years of doing this. And that's what I love about this. It's constant learning. You learn things along the way, and then you can impart that knowledge on somebody else. It's one of the reasons why we started this channel. All right, let's look at another section. Now, I know when Tyler and I were here about a month and a half ago, we looked at this amazing framed presidential display. I do not remember if this was above it last time, but I am just enamored with this Wizard of Oz display here. It is a complete cast collection autographed by Judy Garland, Margaret Hamilton, Jack Haley, Burt Lahr, Ray Bolger, all of them. Isn't that just stunning? Billy Burke. I mean, it is an incredible, incredible collection put together here. They're all individual, but they've been matted together. The Wizard of Oz, of course, one of the most iconic films of all time, and I believe it's about to celebrate its 85th anniversary. They are asking $12,900 for this display. Now, of course, you see Jack Haley there as the Tin Man. You may not know this, but the original choice to play the Tin Man was Buddy Epson, of course, from the Beverly Hillbillies. The problem was the silver makeup that he wore in the movie caused some sort of rash or reaction. He was allergic to it. So he had to drop out of the role, and Jack Haley got it. And, I think Buddy Epson went on to have a pretty iconic career. So, no harm, no foul there. Oh, well, I like the look of this booth, and they're offering 25% off everything in here. So let's take a look and see what they have. First of all, of course, he's a hoot. But let's take a look back at this amazing mid-century modern Drexel dining set. 6 chairs and the table. They are asking $1,050 for it. I love mid-century modern. It's so clean and its lines are so incredible. You can see the workmanship that went into it and the fact that it's as old as it is and in such good shape. It just shows you how well the stuff was manufactured back then. Now look up here. It's Lucy. Lucy in one of the great comedy skits of the 1950s, Vitamita Vegemin on I Love Lucy. When I was a kid, I watched I Love Lucy reruns like crazy, and I actually got a lot of my friends in on it. And I think I did my part to help perpetuate her legacy and get people my age to appreciate her comedy. This is one of the skits that makes me laugh every time I see it. Vitamita Vegemin. She didn't realize that there was like 60% alcohol content in it, and they made her keep sipping it. So by the end, she's saying, "It's Vitamita Vegemin. It's so tasty, too." And then she just starts drinking out of the bottle. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Let's see what else we have in here. Look at this vintage Santa Claus here. Now, I know Christmas is over, but it's always nice to take a look. It's a bank. Okay, they're asking 30 for that. Ooh, we've got some Beatles records and Elvis records. Got Help, a single of Help, and Elvis with, what do we have? So Glad You're Mine and Ready Teddy. That's great. And over here, look at this print of Frank Sinatra in all the different stages of his life. I was always a huge Frank Sinatra fan. When I was 14, we had the great pleasure of seeing Frank Sinatra Jr. here in Las Vegas perform live at MGM. We met him afterwards and he signed my ticket. And, we didn't have a camera with us. It was back before cell phone cameras, but it was a wonderful memory to get to meet him. And I still have that ticket, of course. Okay, so this case has some really fun items that I wanted to look at. I love these tropical palm tree salt and peppers. And then you got these really fun chicken ones here, all the dog ones and everything. And then down here, look at this. It is a Campbell's soup can radio. The top of the can is the speaker. It's got a little antenna. And then there's your dial on the side there. I just thought that was really fun. They're asking $30 for that. And then one more set of salt and peppers to look at. Francoma. Oh, those look like wagon wheels. Aren't those amazing? I've always liked Francoma's style. This is a really nice showcase here. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is a really nice piece here. It's all these postcards, of course, paintings of postcards from different parts of Nevada. And I feel very fortunate that in the last year and a half or so, we've had a chance to really explore Nevada and get to know it. We've only lived here for so long, and I feel like it's been a wonderful opportunity to get to know the state. Of course, we went to Virginia City and Carson City, and we passed through Tonopah when we were on our way back from that. Of course, Area 51, the Hoover Dam, and then right down to Las Vegas. This is a really lovely display piece. It looks like it was done in, well, it says 13 on there. I don't think 1913, so I'm guessing 2013, but it's really of that style and it's a fun piece. And then right below it, they have these vintage Vegas postcards. And you know, I love photography. This is the kind of stuff that's so great. There's Vegas Vicky right there, that famous neon sign. It used to be on top of the Glitter Gulch marquee. Now it's inside the bar at Circa, the new resort in the Fremont district. Really fun to go sit there under Vegas Vicky. And then look at the fabulous Flamingo. The Flamingo Hotel. Look at how small it was. Now it's this giant sprawling complex, but that's a view of their pool. And if you've ever seen the movie Viva Las Vegas with Elvis Presley and Anne Margaret, there's the great scene where Elvis and her are having a bit of a disagreement by the pool, and she pushes him into the water. It's so funny. Okay, so now I am in a booth that is all mid-century modern inspired, and this is like heaven for me. Look at this incredible turtle. It is by Barbini, and he is just fantastic. We've got Orifors from Sweden, of course, beautiful Norwegian glass products, and then look at this mid-century modern kitchenware, absolutely fantastic. And then up here, a vintage Talkaphone with the original box. Can't you see that in like an episode of Dick Van Dyke when he goes into the office and they call him in to talk to the boss? And we've got some beautiful mid-century modern artwork here. And I'm seeing the Beatles. Are those the Beatles in velvet? I think it is. It is the Fab Four painted in velvet. That's fantastic. They are asking $575 for that. It's really amazing to think that the Beatles broke up over 50 years ago, and yet they have a number one song on the radio right now. I have listened to Now and Then countless times since it came out, and I think it's just stunning. The fact that John recorded the vocals in the late 1970s, George did his guitar work in the mid 90s, and Paul and Ringo did their additions just this last year, that they transcended time and they were able to put out a single together, even with half of them gone. Just amazing. What are your thoughts on Now and Then? Have you had a chance to listen to it? Did you enjoy it? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Okay, I found heaven for Gary. Look at this. An entire shelf of uranium glass, Vaseline glass, just amazing, amazing items. Look at this mug here. I absolutely love the style of it. They're asking $250, of course. The glow on it is just amazing. You've got that Jack in the Pulpit back there. And then, of course, we've got uranium glass bowls, perfect for ice cream. Could you imagine if you had like black lights wired into your dining area and you served the food and then suddenly the lights went out and you fired those up and all of the plates just glowed like that? That'd be quite a trip, wouldn't it? I like to think about things like that. Oh my goodness, I have never seen uranium glass sunglasses before. That's so cool. Oh my goodness. Now, of course, uranium glass has actual uranium in it, but it's not radioactive, so it is safe to have around. And I am definitely going to be showing this section to Gary the next time he's here with me. This is really fun here. As you've seen in previous videos, you know that I love vintage stereoscopic photos. So stereoscopic photos are the precursor to Viewmasters, and you could view them on these large apparatuses. I've never seen one like this. This one is telescoping and very portable. They are asking $69 for it, and I think it is just so much fun. Of course, you would slide the stereogram into that slot there, and then you would look through and it would combine the two images together into a 3D image. And that was an incredible way for people to get insight into the outside world at a time where the average person wouldn't travel more than 20 miles in their entire life. So you could see a picture of Queen Victoria and you live in Ohio, or you could be in England and you could see what it looks like in Ohio. And I think that's just an amazing part of history. It's how the world slowly got smaller and smaller for people. And I love collecting vintage stereograms. As you saw, I got some in Santa Barbara a couple of months ago, and I'm always on the hunt for interesting and unique images. This is a really cool piece of music memorabilia right here. Look at this. It's a backstage pass to Bob Seger. I'm not sure what. Oh, it says right there, 1986. I was going to say I'm not sure what year it's from, but it's 1986, the American Storm Tour. So you got to go backstage after the show, maybe meet Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. They're asking $10 for that. I have a feeling it would have cost you a lot more to have that in 1986. Could you imagine getting to see him perform all those great songs, old time rock and roll, Hollywood Nights? Oh, I'm a big Bob Seger fan. I wish he'd do another tour, but I've heard that he's retired now. There's some really interesting items in here. Now, I'm wondering if that is treasure craft there. It's not quite the style, but it could be. I'm going to maybe peek my head underneath in a second and take a look. Look at these matchbooks from the Follies Bergère at Tropicana. That is old Vegas right there, and that is so cool. Now, of course, you've got some Marilyn Monroe hanging out in the corner. And then down here, all these cowrie shells have been carved into the zodiac signs. It's a complete set of them. They're asking $96 for that. And then up here, oh, I see some Stangle, I think. And then a sequin King of Spades. That's very cool. That's very Vegas-y. Yeah, I really like the style of this section. This is an amazing image with an equally amazing history behind it. I've seen this many times before. So, of course, Las Vegas is the closest town to where they did all the nuclear tests in the 40s and 50s. And the city really leaned into it. They had a Miss Atomic Bomb Las Vegas pageant for several years, and the winner would wear a mushroom cloud bikini. I mean, it's really something to consider, isn't it? It was a tourist attraction to come to Las Vegas and see the mushroom clouds of the atomic bombs. They would line the rooftops of the hotels to watch it. It's a really fascinating moment in this town's history, and this photo is a reminder of that time. So last time we were here, of course, Tyler and I looked at this piece of Elvis Presley's hair that's been framed and put into a display with the COA. Looks like they've got some other new collectibles and pop culture memorabilia items here. Look at this display here of Elvis versus Muhammad Ali at the International here in Vegas in 1973. Doesn't that just look like the kind of big event that the Colonel would make Elvis do as a big publicity stunt? Muhammad Ali fights Elvis Presley. That's pretty funny. And then right down here, look at this. It's actual dollars from Monty Hall's Let's Make a Deal and a canceled ticket from a taping in 1972. That's really interesting. They were asking 100 for it. They've got it on sale for 30. That might be a signal that, Monty Hall isn't as prevalent in pop culture as he used to be, which makes sense unless you watch like Game Show Network or something. You might not know who he was. It's a sad aspect of how time progresses, but hopefully someday he comes back and people appreciate him because he was one of the great hosts of the 20th century. And then right here, I think this is amazing. So it is a hand-drawn sketch by Kirk Douglas, the one and only Kirk Douglas, of Vincent van Gogh with one ear. Now, of course, Kirk played Van Gogh in the movie Lust for Life. I had the great fortune of knowing Kirk in his last couple of years before he passed away, well over 100 years old. I got to film him and do promo bits with him, and I have a great photo of me, clapping a clapboard right in front of him, and he was just such a wonderful person. They have that for 3,000 marked down to 2,000, and that would be a treasure in anybody's collection. Okay, now we're speaking my language here. Look at the vintage trading cards. I love this era of trading cards. All these great movies like Superman, Roger Rabbit, Ghostbusters, Gremlins. Look at the A Team. I love it when a plan comes together. These are still sealed packs. Oh, look, Moonraker, James Bond. Now, the cool thing about Moonraker is it came out at the same time as Star Wars. It's kind of when James Bond was mimicking the trends of the time. Star Wars is the biggest movie in history, so put James Bond in space. A few years later, Raiders of the Lost Ark comes out, and you've got James Bond in the desert looking for treasure with Timothy Dalton. It's great vintage trading cards here. Ooh, I might have to pick up a couple of packs and see what I can pull. Well, doesn't this just say 1980s? Three-piece set, step panel, beveled mirrors with jazz musicians. That's so cool. And then down here, I have never seen this before. It's a turntable miniature electric piano all in one. That's really interesting. And then a 1945 Sterling Smith Corona typewriter. That looks like it's in great shape. I still have a vintage typewriter. Do you know the world's last typewriter factory closed a couple of years ago? So the typewriters that are out there are the only ones left. If you have one, take good care of it. And then vintage cameras. Hello. Look at that one right there with the Art Deco design in the front of it. That is so cool. I'm still working on restoring the camera that I bought in Paris earlier this year, and as soon as I've got it functional, I'm going to take it around Las Vegas and take a whole bunch of photos. Can't wait for that. There's some really interesting items in this booth. Well, this booth is certainly full of wonderful items, a lot of great things to look at. But what drew me in here is right down here. Look at this television. Isn't that amazing? That's got to be very early. It's got a brocade front to it, which I assume is where the speaker is located. They're asking 200 no, $200 it looks like. I'm trying to see. What I would imagine you could do with this is you could take out the inner mechanism and you could turn it into a secret bar. Imagine you turn the knob as if you're going to turn the TV on, but then you swing it open and there's a whole hidden bar in there. Wouldn't that be cool? Just keep on finding lobby cards. Remember, we've been talking about them over recent videos. This one is $35. It is Pier 5 Havana, starring Cameron Mitchell, and it's got an original motion picture code approved stamp on it. And as we've learned and talked about, you can see right there 59/248, which means it's from 1959, and it was the 248th release of that year. I love lobby cards. Now, look at this. Imagine you've got a big garage or a game room, and you put that up on the wall. An original golden nugget blackjack table felt. That is so cool. And then this caught my eye, and I thought this was really fascinating. It's a class picture from a technical high school in 1916. Look at all those portraits there. Can you imagine the lives that all those people went on to have and how they could have shaped their communities after graduating high school? Class of 1916 means they went through the Great Depression and World War II. And I wonder what incredible lives these people lived. Well, that was a great time in Antique Alley. I always love going in there. They have so many amazing things. I'm going to head a couple blocks down in the Arts District, and I am going to visit a bakery that is world famous for their treats, and let's see what we can get. This is Freed's Dessert Shop, which is widely considered one of the best bakeries in Las Vegas. They have locations all over the valley, and the minute you walk in, you can smell why. Look at these delicious cases of treats. They have everything you can imagine. Today, I'm going to get one of my favorites, a black and white cookie. I love the mix of chocolate and vanilla. Okay, let's give it a try. Yum! The cookie is soft and chewy, and the frosting is perfect. Well, it's been an amazing rainy day here in the Las Vegas Arts District. Had a great time going through Antique Alley and enjoyed a delicious black and white cookie at Freed's Dessert Shop. Hey, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you always know when an episode drops. Please leave a comment. We read every single one of them, and we really appreciate the interaction. We love doing this. We love interacting with you, and we love having you join the journey.